sound. Check this out. Despite what others may say or do, don't you know the greatest enemy lives inside of you? Thoughts of negativity, anger, addiction, choosing to live with drama and friction. Keep the eye watch on your thoughts and your feeling. Keep your eyes on the prize and all your dealings. See the negativity, see to your disbelief. See the negativity, see to your disbelief. I'm gonna keep my faith. Keep my faith. This is what I'm gonna do now. Keep my faith. This time I'm gonna keep my faith. Keep my faith. Keep my faith. I won't lose it this time. Oh, I'm gonna keep my faith. I'm gonna keep my faith. This time I'm gonna keep.
Can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. Make me feel so good. I can do most anything. I am loving every living thing. I can see the face of God and paupers and kings. Whoa, whoa, yeah. We're all precious, no one less or more. We've all got the same treasure in store. That's why I'm loving every living thing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. Woo-hoo. I can't help
Every day we're born again to create this world we live in. So now let's claim our good and speak our word and release it to the universe. It's a new day. Right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together hand in hand. It's a new sing our love across the land. Right here we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. Every day I'm filled with wonder by the glory of the silent thunder unfolding from down under. Such is the nanda. Oh, it's a new day. Right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together hand in hand. It's a new sing our love across the land. Right here we're making a difference.
Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. Oh, grateful. I'm so grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This
Mute the iPod. Mute the iPod, please.
this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
Okay.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful.
Ever, can you bring it back up,
day.
please?
Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. So grateful, I'm so grateful. I wanna say thank you,
Mute it one more time.
just thank you. I wanna say thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, yeah. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. I wanna just say thank you now, just thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thank you now. Each and every day I'm gonna say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Oh, God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power.
Mute this, please.
God gives me everything and every little thing that I need, and I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything.
All right.
I need. Oh, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
You're not getting signal?
God gives me
Everett,
everything.
are you getting signal?
Every little thing, every little thing I need.
There we go. There we go. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Metairie. We had a few little technical difficulties, so we're starting late, but we're so glad that you're here. Welcome, everybody. You feeling good today? Yes? Hello. Happy New Year, everybody. Hey, let's get some smiles. There's some beautiful sunshine out here. And, the Saints are probably going to the Super Bowl. Woohoo! I'm Jack Fowler. I'm the spiritual director of this wonderful spiritual community. So we know here that God is the source of our supply. We know that God always takes care of us. So let's all stand together and sing this morning. God is my source. And give me a little more volume on my mic, please. Thank you, Everett. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. How about some love? Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. How about some joy, y'all? Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. How about some peace, y'all? Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I. One more time. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. 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 So welcome, everybody. Take just a moment and say hello to your spiritual family. Y'all with some hugs and handshakes. We welcome you this morning. All right. All right, everybody. Let's get in that last hug and handshake, everybody. Good morning. What a beautiful day here
You know, I always like to think that in the summertime when it's so hot and we always try to complain, this is when the payback comes, because here it is, January already. It's going to be 70 degrees today. We're not going to have to dig out of snow or freeze our tails off. So let's say thank you, God, for this beautiful weather. We love it. So let's all just take a deep breath and become centered here and now in this place. As best you can, begin to let go of your week. Let go of anything that may be bothering you or troubling you, and realize that right now, here in this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. You're in the presence of people that are loving and beautiful and are here to support you in remembering your magnificence as a holy and beautiful child of God. That's what unity is all about, seeing the presence of God in every living thing. And so we're so grateful to be here with our spiritual family. I am Jack Fowler. I'm the spiritual director of this wonderful group, and I'm so happy to be here with you all this morning at the beginning of, can you believe it's 2019? It's kind of crazy, huh? And you know, it's coming up in just a few weeks. Mardi Gras. Yay. A friend of mine said, like, wow, I can finally put up my Christmas stuff and relax. And I said, well, at least for a little while. So once again, let's all just become settled here, being grateful to be here with our spiritual family. Thank you, God, for this opportunity to come together. And we have quite a few new people here today. We welcome you. We honor the presence of God, the presence of Christ within you. And we have packets. If you wouldn't mind raising your hand just a moment, we're not going to ask you to stand up or do anything, but just raise your hand. We have a packet we'd like to give you. And in this packet, there's some information about Unity, what we do here in the New Orleans Metairie area, and what Unity does all around the world. And there's a little sheet on the back, if you wouldn't mind filling this out and dropping it in the offering, and just let us know what you thought about the service. We'd love to especially get your email address so that we can keep in touch with you with our newsletter, because we have some awesome things coming up for the year, some new things, and just an exciting time for us here with our spiritual family. So we're so grateful to see you. We've got some puppies in the back too, and a sweet little baby. Look at that thing. Oh my goodness. How old is it? 3 months, a little girl, little boy? Wow, look at that handsome thing. How wonderful. He's like, hey. How beautiful. Thank you. Good to see you. And we also have some puppies in the back. I mean, this is like, I don't know what's going on here today. It's like zoo adoption day and baby day. I don't know what's happening, but it's all good. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and silence your cell phone or anything else that might make a noise as we create a sacred space together. So many cool things going on today, as we are grateful that we come together this morning to celebrate that presence, to see that God in each other. Speaking of seeing God in each other, do we have any kids here today? I know we had the baby back there. He's already gone to the back. Anybody just feeling like a kid today? Yeah? Why don't we bring the puppies up? That'll be cool. We're gonna have a puppy blessing, and we didn't even plan it. How about that? Look at that. Here comes Sophia with these puppies. We can bless her as well. Oh my God, I am a sucker for puppies. I mean, we are in trouble. Everybody, oh. Where's your mom? Right here. Hey, little sweetie. Oh, this should be Snowball. Oh, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I already have too many cats. I can't look at those dogs. Well, it is true that we can bless the animals, the beasts of the world, just as we bless our kids. So this morning we're going to send this blessing out to children all around the world, and puppies and animals and those that teach us all around the world this morning. Energetically, they don't have to be in this space to feel our blessing and to feel our love. Oh, he's so inspired, he's starting to cry. He's like feeling the love. So if you would like to, put your hands forward and send some energy as we say together, children of light, we bless you. You loved, guided, and protected by God's presence. In New Orleans style, we love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. All righty. Thank you, Sophia. It's good to see you. I hadn't seen Sophia and her mom and dad in a while, so good to see everybody. How many people were here last week for the Burning Bowl service? What a beautiful time. Thank you, Paul and Brenda, for taking care of that. I didn't hear of any explosions, so did we have a successful year? Well, if you weren't here for the Burning Bowl, it's a wonderful and powerful ritual of letting go of things that no longer serve us and burning them up. And 6 years ago, when I first came here to Unity of Metairie, I decided to have this, and we thought, oh, well, a few people will come up, come that evening, because we had it on New Year's Eve and it had never been done then before. So we thought maybe there'll be 10 or 20 people, and we had almost 80 people show up. It's one of the biggest services we've ever had in here, and we were like, oh my God! And who was our secretary at that time? Meg. Meg was running in the back, printing up extra programs and pieces of paper that were going to be burned in the fire, and it was just crazy, but it was awesome. And Paul and Brenda thinking, and this is our wonderful Paul and Brenda here, who you saw last week. We're thinking, we'll have a few people, and they brought this little thing. I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looked like a Barbie crock pot. It was like about this little. Oh, you had it Sunday and you worked fine. Okay. Well, they had the Barbie crock pot. I'm still going to call it that. And people were lining up to go outside. And I was standing here playing music, and we were playing a beautiful song, all meditating, and like 30 minutes went past, and 45 minutes went past, and almost an hour went past. It's like, what are they? They're like cooking a pig out there? What is happening? And it was taking so long for that many people to go through with that little crock pot. And so the next year, I thought, we're going to have a big old honking fire. So I got this beautiful big container. I got one of those sterno logs, those things that burn for about 4 hours. I'm like, we're going to burn this puppy up. Yeah, little did we know that the thing that was carried that sterno in had some plastic in it. So those sterno things get really hot, we learned. And the next thing we know, there was a mild explosion and black smoke went everywhere. And the people outside doing their affirmations came fleeing inside. It was just crazy. The container itself caught on fire. It was just, so I'm glad to hear that there were no explosions. But the year turned out good, so I guess it doesn't really matter. It's all about the intention. As you can tell, we like to have a lot of fun around here. So once again, welcome. The new people are like, they're kind of crazy, but that's good. Yes, awesome. So I'm going to invite Steve up this morning as we once again relax into this moment, just breathing in, becoming still and present. Grateful to know that you are exactly where you need to be this morning. This group in this place and this time will never, ever happen exactly like this again. So this is a holy, special, and sacred moment. We have been brought together by Spirit in perfect divine order as we start off this new year knowing that the best is yet to come. As we continue to awaken to the truth of who we are as divine expressions of life. So let's breathe in, take it in with open heart and open mind as we listen to these thoughts from our daily word.
Today's daily word, Sunday, January 6, 2019, is Epiphany. Today I greet new possibilities now born in me. According to the Gospel of Matthew, Epiphany represents the arrival of the three magi in Bethlehem, scholars and priests who traveled from the east, following a star to greet the new Christ energy. They were there first to recognize the newborn child as divine love in expression. Epiphany is a timely reminder to recognize that same Christ presence in myself. My awareness may feel as small and tentative as a baby at first, but with time and attention, it becomes a part of my being. I am continuously connected to Spirit, one with a higher power far greater than my human self. With this in mind, I discover more of my expanded spiritual purpose as I greet new possibilities now born in me. Today's daily word was taken from Isaiah 61. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you.
See if you wouldn't mind staying up. We're going to light our Christ candle today. This candle we light as a representation of the one power, one presence that is in all living things. Sometimes we call this the Christ presence, Holy Spirit, universe, God, whatever word works for you, doesn't matter. We realize that there is one beautiful tapestry that is life, and each and every one is part of this tapestry. And so we light this Christ candle today symbolically of this one power, this one life that's been expressed by spiritual masters such as Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, those that have shown us our potential, shown us that within us there is a light that is greater than any situation in this world. In this moment that can solve any problem you have, can heal any disease that you have, can help you with any issues that you may have with relationships, with career, with your life. For this power doesn't follow the rules of the world. This power can do anything. I can do anything through Christ that strengthens me, this power within me. And we come together this morning with love, with joy, opening our hearts, opening our minds, knowing that the presence of God is here because we are here. As we open, ready to receive, we come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. One creation undivided, one creation undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. And so we come to the part of our service where we move into a deeper time of prayer and silence. What I think is the most important time that we spend together, because as much as we speak and talk and read and even sing, something happens when we move into the silence and allow ourselves to be still, allow our minds to become quiet. We begin to hear the still, small voice that knows, that it knows that all is well. There's a place within you now where nothing is impossible. There's a place within you now that knows every beautiful thing about you and sees you with the eyes of God, whole, perfect, and complete. We sometimes forget about this space within us as we move through the day with the noise and the chaos and the commotion of our lives. But this sacred space remains. It is forever. It came with you into this world, and it's the only thing you will leave this world with. Your true self, spirit, whole, complete, perfect. And so I would invite you to join me on a journey within as we allow ourselves permission to be still and quiet and to know that all is well, to know that there is a loving, beneficent, magnificent force that always has our back, that is always guiding us, always leading us. And And so just allow your body to relax even more than it may already be. Feel your legs become still. Release any tension from your abdomen. Begin to consciously breathe in deep breaths and breathe out. And as you do, allow your chest to relax. Let your shoulders gently drop. Release any tension in your neck, your forehead. Feel your face begin to soften. Allowing your body to become completely still. Pulling all of your energy and attention and focus right here, right now, to this holy, sacred moment. For this is all that we have, this beautiful, holy moment. So as we bring all of our attention here, we feel ourselves completely relaxed, becoming empty. Breathing, watching your breath. Fully and completely surrendering. And just as your body has relaxed, take a moment and look at your thoughts. See what ideas may be there. Maybe conversations of the past. Schedule for later on in the afternoon. Whatever is there, just allow it to be and gently begin to let go of all your thoughts, beliefs, ideas. Allow your mind to unwind and become silent and still and empty. For there is a place between your thoughts in the gap. In this place of stillness, this is where transformation begins. This is where miracles happen. This is where healing happens. In the gap, the stillness, the holy silence, where we listen to that voice that reminds us, you are my beloved. You are whole. You are perfect just as you are. In this moment, you are still exactly as God created you. No matter where your life journey has taken you, nothing can change what God has created whole and complete. In the silence, we begin to see ourselves as God sees us. And we become in contact with our true, essential self that is timeless, ageless, forever loving, forever loved. In the silence, in the stillness, allow yourself to be here in this moment, in this holy instant. With open heart, quiet, and silent. holy, sacred space of stillness, we are only left with gratitude to know that we are still just as God created us. You are the beloved, a holy child of God, filled with this loving presence that is life. Forever loving, forever loved, forever safe, held in the hands of grace. To know that this is true, we say, thank you, God, and so it is. So good morning once again. Wow, what a beautiful time together. Thank you for sharing in that. And I do appreciate Paul and Brenda for taking care of things while I was away last week. I was at Unity of Huntsville and had a wonderful time there speaking and actually helping them do their burning bowl. But oh man, I'm glad to be home. It's good to be here. Everybody had a good holiday time? You know, when the holidays happen, I'm always so excited because I love all the food. That's the main reason. All the food that happens. And, you know, I realized how much I love turkey, like the real turkey, not like turkey breast, like little fake turkey that you get at the store, like a turkey with the legs sticking up that you get out of the oven. And I wonder why I don't make that all year long. Like I wait for it to Thanksgiving, like that's the only day I'm allowed to eat it. So one of my intentions this year is to make more turkey. So I had a wonderful time. As many of you know, I was able to spend some time with my family, my sister at the beach, and I really needed it. It was very refreshing and wonderful, and I'm really ready to go. And we have some really great things happening here with our spiritual center, and I'll tell you about some of those things later. But if you've been around for a while, you know that at the beginning of the year, we go back to the basics. The beginning of the year, we circle back after we've talked about so many different things during the year, and Paul and Brenda have given so many classes about different subjects. We go back to the basics because I think it's important sometimes just to go back to square one and just remember the basic ideas of what unity and other things and other spiritual ideas are about. So this is a series we call Unity for the Streets. Unity for the Streets. I love it. And I call it Unity for the Streets for a specific reason. Many people have told me, and I've experienced this myself, is that if you're out and about with people at work or maybe even your family, you know, that have other beliefs and ideas and faiths, that hopefully during this series or in the next 5 weeks, I will empower you with some phrases and ideas about unity that you can intelligently speak to someone about it. So the question sometimes comes up if you're talking about religion, which, you know, they say we're not supposed to talk about religion or politics, especially these days. I just keep my mouth shut. But, you know, sometimes things come up about what do you believe or what do you know about Jesus? And then they go like, do you go to that Unity church? What do they believe? You know? And there's a lot of misconceptions about unity. There's a whole lot of misconceptions, and I'm going to share a little about that too. Just will give us some ideas and some words to use, so when someone does ask you, well, you go to Unity Church, what is it about? That you can eloquently say, la, 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 and say, huh? It happens sometimes, you know, because sometimes people try to trick us with questions like, well, what do you think about Jesus? You know, and so do you have an answer for that? So we're going to go through and take a week out of, the next month or so and do our 5 basic principles and take one a week so that we can spend some time with each one of them. And, you know, principles are things, and I brought so many papers up here. It looks like I've got like a hoarding thing going on, but I was trying to find one sheet I need to find. Principles are basically things that never change. They are consistent, kind of like the laws of the universe. You know, gravity is always consistent. It doesn't even matter if you believe in it. You have to believe in gravity to fall out of an airplane. But principles are things that are consistent. So let's go back to the very beginning of unity with Charles and Myrtle Fillmore back in the late 1800s. We've been around for quite a while. And they initially just decided, they made a conscious decision about this because they went to a traditional Christian church as we know it. And what they began to feel is that they would go to church on Sunday and they would feel really great and they would see everybody and fellowship with everybody and have a wonderful time. Then they would go home and they would get up Monday morning and their life would still be the same. So they didn't feel like they were really given tools to practically use to make changes in their life. So Myrtle, who, you've heard me talk about her a lot, she was such a firebrand, this fiery woman who was just determined and had so much faith. She decided with her husband, Charles, that we're going to put these ideas in the Bible to the test and really see if this works. And if it doesn't, then we shouldn't keep doing this. Why are we doing this over and over again and our lives are not any better? As a matter of fact, Myrtle was very sick. Some of you know the whole story of her. She was very sick. She had tuberculosis and a lot of other ailments, and tuberculosis during that time was definitely a death sentence. They would take people off to a sanatorium and just wait for them to die. So, in the doctor's eyes, she was headed quickly to her demise. And she decided, well, let's start with health because I can't do anything else unless I have my health. And believe me, that I have learned that so much in my life that if you feel good and you feel healthy, be grateful because that is the core of everything. You could have $1 billion in the bank, and if you didn't feel good, your life would still not be great. So Myrtle said, let's start with health. I'm going to see if this stuff really works. I'm going to put my faith to the test, and I'm going to really dig in and see. So here she had, like tuberculosis, incurable disease. It'd kind of be like HIV is today, even worse because there weren't even like the special drugs for that. So she decided to say this. She was inspired to say this. I am a holy child of God. Therefore, I do not inherit sickness. Can we get that cut off, please? That's okay. That's all right. No problem. Maybe it's God calling. Should we answer it? You want to put it on speaker? Maybe it is God. You want to put it on speaker and see? Well, maybe we can get a millennial to help you. Anybody want to help out? Here, let Larry, because we want you to stay. We need Mina here. Okay, good. So she's popular today. So anyway, so this is what Myrtle said. I am a holy child of God. Therefore, I do not inherit sickness. Think about how powerful that is at the core of what she's saying. And I compare that to a friend of mine whose father had a lot of businesses and became very wealthy. And, my friend inherited a whole lot of money. He didn't really do anything to get it. He wasn't, necessarily any more better than anyone else. He just got it because his father gave it to him. So if you take that to us, if we are children of God, then we must inherit the qualities of God. And if that is true, we do not inherit sickness. And we do not inherit poverty and all those things that we have in our life. So she held on to this idea, and she said in the beginning, it just seemed like empty words, but she kept doing it. She said, I am a holy child of God, therefore I did not inherit sickness. And she did it over and over, and eventually it became part of her and part of her DNA. And of course, you know what happened. Her body healed. Her body responded to her newfound thought about herself and her newfound idea about herself. Once you realize that you are a holy child of God, period, everything else falls into place. Everything does. Everything does. Because you know where you came from, and you know what you're deserving of. And you know how beautiful you are, and you even know how holy you are. Some people don't like to hear that. Sorry to give you the news, but you are holy. You are holy. Sometimes it makes people cringe, but it's true. Now, we forget that, so you might say, if we're holy, then why does my life suck? Well, it sucks because you have forgotten this essential idea, and you're living from a false premise of a mistaken identity. You're living as someone else. You're not living as a holy child of God, and we have free will to do that. You can suffer as long as you would like. You can be in pain as long as you would like. It's up to you. Now, I'm not saying to anyone today that's feeling bad or you're feeling sick. It's not a judgment on that. I'm just sharing with you the potential of what our lives can be, because none of us are doing this perfectly. None of us are doing this perfectly. I mean, a few weeks ago when I was here, I almost passed out during the service. If you were here, I think I had like a blood sugar drop, and I was like, oh, I saw stars, and I just told everybody, hey, I'm like about to faint. And everybody was like, ah. But actually, they didn't really laugh. A few people kind of giggled because they thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. And so I was like up here in front of everybody and almost fell out. So no one's doing this perfectly. But Myrtle wanted to set the standard and set the potential, and she healed herself by this idea. And then she went from there once her body became vibrant again. And by the way, her body became vibrant until her passing in her late 80s. She was climbing 10 flights of stairs every day until her passing. So not only did she heal herself of tuberculosis, but she did something greater than that. Greater than that. And this is the key to all of this. She did not heal herself of a sickness. She healed her mind of the thought that sickness was even necessary. See the difference there? Because any of us can heal ourselves. We all have the power to do that. But unless our mind is healed of the idea that we should be sick, then sickness is free to strike again. You get something else. Myrtle completely used the scripture and her faith to heal her mind of the idea that sickness was even necessary. So she remained extremely healthy her entire life. As a matter of fact, when she got ready to make her transition, she told the staff at Unity Village, our home office, by that time, Unity had grown into a big movement. She told everybody, Spirit told me it's time to go. I'm going to leave this body. They're like, no, don't die. And she's like, well, there is no death. That's what we've been trying to teach you guys the whole time. It's time for me to go. It's time to do something else. And she went into a meditation. She laid down and meditated and just simply never came back. Man, what a way to go. And to do it consciously. And the interesting part about this, and all this is documented, is that her personal physician, when they went to turn over her body, for the funeral and burial and everything, that they forced her personal physician to put a cause of death on the death certificate. They said, you can't just bring us a body and say, here it is. And her personal physician made up something because her body was in such perfection for her age that there was nothing to list. She made her transition because she listened to Spirit and it was time to go. Wouldn't that freak them out to put that on the coroner's report? Cause of death, listen to Spirit, said it's time to go. They go, what? So what a life. I mean, what a way to do this. So we move forward a little bit. As Charles and Myrtle, then they went from sickness. Once they became healthy, then they moved on to finances and prosperity, and just wonderful things started happening for them. And Unity became a movement. Unity is not a religion. We don't need another religion. Unity is a movement that started because these two people were willing to dig in with their faith and say, we're going to prove that these scriptures are true. And they did. And people became attracted to them because of their success in their life. People were writing Myrtle, actually so long ago they sent telegrams to her and said, will you help me? We see what's happened with your life, help me. And then a few letters turned into thousands, and then thousands of letters turned into millions. And to this day, still almost 130 years later, that has become what we call silent unity, where millions, over 2 million people of all faiths call, email, or text every single year to get prayer for situations in their life. Myrtle started that with those few first little telegrams. And that's how Unity actually began. Unity began as a prayer, a service of prayer and to help others. But they were not trying to start anything. They were just being. They were expressing the power and presence of God so big into the world that people flocked to them. And that's why we're sitting here today. So our 5 principles, though, weren't developed even by the Fillmores. They just wrote some books about their beliefs, and it became very popular, and churches began to spring up for people of like mind, and like I said, that's why we're here today. However, their granddaughter, and I've got to look through all these papers. This is crazy. I don't know how I ended up with all these papers up here. Their granddaughter actually, back, I think it's been about 40 years ago, decided that, let's see, here we go. Okay, here we go. Connie Fillmore Bazzi, an ordained Unity minister and then president of Unity School of Christianity, was asked to summarize Unity's teachings in an article for the Daily Word, which our daily 100 years in some format is what we read from today. By the way, we have those, the new ones in there. It's such a great thing to have by your bedside. It's a short little way to get your day going really great. They're only $5 for 2 months for January and February, and just it inspires me every morning. You can also find it on our Facebook page. Well, Connie, who was a great-granddaughter of the Fillmores, was asked to summarize what was about, because this had never been done before. There was a lot of writings and a lot of teachings, a lot of books, and a lot of things, but no one had ever sat down and said, well, what do we really believe? What are the, okay, let's go back to what I said earlier. So Connie sat down and said, what are the things about unity that will never change? Because a principle is something that we say is something that never changes. It remains constant. So she spent a lot of prayer with this. It all boiled down to 5 principles, which really makes it simple. You know, you take, because there's so many books and teachings and ideas and things to talk about, but she put together 5 principles, and to this day, they were so well received and so well understood by everyone that we use them to this day to share what unity is about. When someone says, well, what is unity? And I was going to say, I carry this around sometimes. Like I said, this is just crazy up here. I had my little card. We have these little tiny cards that have the 5 principles printed on them, and they're laminated and really cool. I don't see mine up here now, but we have them in the bookstore. They're like credit card size, and they have the 5 principles. Sometimes I carry that around with me, just kind of review. You know, if I'm in a situation where someone might ask me about unity, I just kind of have it. And I've actually pulled it out before and shown it to someone that I got in a conversation with. So I would suggest, if you're interested in this and really want to go over them, they're just $1. Just get one of those. You can keep it in your purse or your wallet or wherever. And the 5 principles are listed there. So she boiled it down to these 5 principles, the never-changing ideas about what unity is. And I really want to find that little card. Bill, would you get that for me? Thank you. And the reason it's important to know these principles is, once again, I encountered something this past month, which is a great example of why. As you know, I said earlier, I spent time at the beach, and I spoke at Unity of Gulf Shores. They have a wonderful little growing Unity church. Here it is. See this little teeny tiny thing? And it's got the 5 principles on it. I can hardly read it without my glasses, but see how small it is? So I spoke at the Unity church there, and it was really awesome and great. And by the way, hello, you guys. They just moved to a new location because they are growing. So we're on Facebook today. So hello, everybody at Unity of Gulf Shores. I know that your service was great today. We're just acknowledging them. By the way, we didn't even say hello to everybody on Facebook. We're not ignoring you. We love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. So hope you can feel the love. And while I was there, I was talking to a woman who had been talking to a friend of hers that she had invited to Unity. And what the woman said was, I only go to churches that teach the Bible. And my friend was like, huh, well, guess what? Everything about unity is actually based on the Bible. Now, many of it is metaphysical interpretation, and that's why Paul and Brenda in the past have done our metaphysical Bible study, because it helps us to look at the Bible through different eyes. Because Jesus had to speak in parables because we hardly get it now, but 2,000 years ago, they had not a clue what he was talking about. I mean, they were just like, huh? What do you mean there is no death? What? You know, and all the things Jesus tried to say. What do you mean I'm supposed to love my neighbor? I'm supposed to kill him. You know, and they were barely, and so Jesus spoke in a lot of parables, and he spoke in metaphysical terms. And so it was interesting to me that someone, like, not understanding what unity about would even say that, because it is based on the Bible, and the Fillmores used the scriptures to heal themselves. So I thought it was really interesting, and then I had someone encounter me on Facebook, because my parents, as you know, my parents were ministers, so I have many people still of the faith. They were Pentecostal Assembly of God. And many of those people now see me on Facebook. So now I'm starting to get confronted because they're watching a stream. And they're like, huh, well, you've changed a little. I mean, a lot. And so I had a friend, you know, send me a beautiful letter. It was actually a handwritten letter, which, you know, we rarely see anymore. And I spoke to you about this a little bit because I think I just received it. And in that letter, she was like just asking me, she said, please, you know, don't do this anymore. This is a cult. I read about it online. I'm like, oh, well, that's always dependable. My two sources of information, the Inquirer and being online. And so anyway, I just think it's interesting because I'm just around these loving people, so it baffles me that someone would think that. But this is what it boils down to, is that people fear what they don't understand. And that's all that it is. And the beautiful thing is, and we had this conversation in Course in Miracles on Wednesday, is everyone is having their own experiences of the divine. So in that Pentecostal church down the street and the Pentecostal church that meets in our building on Wednesday and Sunday, they're having their own authentic experience of the divine. That is not for us to judge. When they speak in tongues or whatever that's going on, that is authentic and true for them. Because when I first left the church, I was a little irritated that I had been told, oh, God loves you, but if you do the tiniest little thing wrong, you're going to fry. I mean, it really kind of screwed me up. I was like, ah. And so I had some bitterness, to be honest with you. I really did. That I haven't been able to say this, what I'm telling you, all the time. It's taken a while, and I'm so grateful to have peace about it. Because they don't care what I think, but I get peace from it when I realize that every Catholic church, every sacred place, in every synagogue and every temple and every church, everywhere that there is today, the presence of God is there in their own manifestation of what they experience the divine. And you think about Mother Teresa was as Catholic as you can get, but Mother Teresa was wide awake. We talk about awakening and becoming enlightened. Mother Teresa was completely enlightened and awake. So we don't have a monopoly on this. Everyone is waking up in all kinds of churches everywhere to begin to realize who they are. And I think it's so lovely. We once again talked about this Wednesday night that Mother Teresa was so awake that she didn't even see poor people. You know, people say, oh, she took care of the poor. That's not how she looked at it. She said, I see the face of Christ in all of its distressing disguises. Wow, that is one of the most enlightened statements I've ever heard. She didn't see poor people. She didn't see sick people. She looked past their condition and saw the presence of God within them and said, I see the face of Christ in all of its distressing disguises. How beautiful and perfect. But there are going to be people that don't understand, once again, back to there. And so hopefully, some about our past and our, what we've done will help us to explain that. And not that you ever need to defend yourself. I'm not saying that. We should never be like ready to argue with someone. This is not about that. It's just about knowing that yourself and embodying these ideas and truths so that you can live them. And if someone is curious, you're able to talk about it intelligently. As a matter of fact, some of you may know this, that Unity, because they wanted to practice Christianity, the Fillmores wanted to practice it and really change their lives. It was first called Practical Christianity. That was Unity's first name. If you look at our old sign that's out here, which you can barely see and all that stuff on the big sign out front where it says Con Plaza, that's the name of our building, you see our little teeny tiny sign, and it still says on there, that's how old it is, Unity of Practical Christianity. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we don't use that anymore just because it's a branding thing, but that's really what we are about, is using these ideas and expanding from there too, and having our own experience of the divine. Deepak Chopra said it so beautifully. He said, religion is having someone else's experience of the divine. Spirituality is having your own experience of the divine. Isn't that a cool way to describe that? However, religion serves a purpose for many people. Some people need to be told certain things at different points of their life to feel safe. I know that's how my religion initially served me, because I just felt if I did this and this and this, I'm safe. And for that moment, it helped me to feel secure and relaxed. Now, I'll let those things go because it doesn't serve me anymore. But at some point, it did. But also, religion gives us a way to come together with people of like mind and share those thoughts and have a safe place. That's what I think Unity is. What I've tried to create here is a safe place for all of you to be able to share your own unique path of the divine without fear of being judged. Or, I mean, if you came up today and said, I was inspired last night during my meditation, and I feel like that I should chase goats in the backyard, and that should be my spiritual practice, we'd raise money and get you a goat. We would. And whatever, because just as unique as we all look and we all are, that's how unique our spiritual path is. And that's why I love the idea that unity, I like to think of unity as a philosophical way to live. Using these principles, realizing there's a power within us that is greater than anything else in the world that we can use to literally change our life. I told them this in Huntsville last week because we were talking about what's the difference between a resolution and an intention, and how resolutions never always fail because usually resolutions come from fear. They're like, okay, I'm overweight. So resolve to, and I'm going to be unhealthy. So I resolve to lose weight, and that's coming from fear. You know, and intentions are where you take it and make it positive and turn it around so that it comes from the very desire of your heart and doesn't come from a superficial place of your mind of fear, and comes from the very voice of God that encourages you to do different things with your life. I know when I really started doing a lot of spiritual practice, my eating habits changed naturally. I didn't have to go to a dietitian, or no one had to, I just stopped craving certain things that I had before. It was a natural, organic progress. And that can happen to us if we just simply listen to the voice of Spirit. Will always guide us, always guide us. We're always exactly where we need to be. I mean, you at some point made a contract in the cosmos maybe 1 billion years ago for your hind end to be sitting in these chairs in this moment. You know, this is not an accident. You are exactly where you need to be right now, right here. It's quite impossible to be somewhere that you're not supposed to be. So if you're all worried about something's going to happen later, like the saints or something, just get over it, because we're supposed to be right where we are. It's already a done deal. So our first principle, you know what I find interesting is we actually have done and I'm going to close with talk about this principle for just a moment. We actually have done principles for the kids, and I don't know if it's still up back there, but they had a little poster of, and I love the kids version actually better because it was just, they were written for kids that made it really simple, and I thought, well, this is like more, I understand this better than the adult version of it. So the first principle, there's only one presence and one power active as a universe and as my life, God the good. The very first principle says there is only one presence and one power active as the universe and as my life, God the good. Now that's something that you could tell someone that wouldn't be so offensive, I would guess, if they came from a more traditional background. However, you know, if you had a discussion about this, where it would lead to was what this is basically saying is that the same power that creates the good also creates what we call the bad. So in other words, there ain't no Satan. And you know, when Jesus said, "Get thee behind me, Satan," what he was saying was these thoughts that are thinking less of me than what I really am, that don't see me like the Father sees me and knows that I can't be crucified no matter what they do with my body, that I'm whole and perfect and complete and eternal. Whenever his thoughts went away from then and he thought, oh my God, I'm a small, limited human being and I'm going to be killed. Oh my God. He said, "Get thee behind me, Satan. These are not the thoughts of God and I won't tolerate them. I simply won't tolerate them." That's what he meant. Jesus was definitely not talking about a red guy with a tail. It always just he had a tail. I don't know. I mean, the tail freaked me out. Anybody know the history of the tail? History of the tail. Yeah. Okay. Ah. So it's a propaganda. Yes. So, but basically what this is saying is that there is only one power and one presence in my life and in the universe, God the good. So if that's true, then why, once again, do we sometimes feel less than, or we have issues with our life, or we're not happy? It's always our choice. The same power that makes you sick is the same power that makes you well. And that is true. It is your ego. It's the part of you that thinks less of you than what you really are. I mean, to me, the ego is just false thoughts about yourself that you manifest into the world. But the same power that makes you sick also makes you well. The same power that makes you feel that you have lack in your experience in poverty, that exact same power can then be used to create abundance in your life. There is only one power. It depends on how you use it. One power, one presence, God the good. And I love how we top it off with God the good, because that is true, that no matter what we choose to create in our lives, no matter what path we think that we're going down, that grace holds us in a state of perfection. The DNA of God is within us no matter what. That's what I think grace is. You know, grace is one of those words that when you say it, everybody's like, has a different idea. It's kind of an esoteric word. What is grace? Love is like that way too. You say, what is love? And people go, well, I don't know. I feel it. I don't know what it is. You know, how do you define love? It's like indefinable. So is grace is that same thing. But for me, what grace is simply this, is that no matter how little I think of myself, and no matter what travesties I think I'm bringing to my life, the presence of God that created me holds my state of perfection in its hands forever, and it cannot be altered. No matter what I do, no matter where my life takes me, that my perfection is held. I may not see it. I may be temporarily insane. Speaking about temporarily insane, actually that's become my definition of prayer, is knowing the truth for someone when they're temporarily unable to see it for themselves. That's all that prayer is. We know that prayer is not asking for anything. God has given us everything. What's there to ask for? There's nothing to ask for. We've been given everything. We have to receive it. And when we pray, that's just what I always think when I pray with someone is, and I may not have to say it out loud, but I think, I am going to see the truth about this person for them, because in this moment, they're not able to. So I see them as the holy child of God. And then one day they will too, but in the meantime, I'm going to hold that image of them for them. And guess what happens? When we do that, it only strengthens knowing ourselves as the presence of God and the presence of life and all those beautiful things that we are. So there is only one power, one presence in our life. So what are some things that you could say? Anybody have any ideas? Now here's your test. Someone says, speaking to the first principle, what if someone said, what does unity believe? What's something you could say? Anybody? Based on that first principle. Yes. Absolutely. And that there is one presence and power and one God. Yes. There's only one presence. Yes. Oh, wow. I love that. That's beautiful. I'm a songwriter. I'm going to steal that and write a song. Thank you. Yes. So there is one presence, one life, and we use that power. We talked about this, you know, we're referring a lot to Wednesday night, but we also talked about there comes a point in many of our lives when we are just tired of suffering. I mean, I reached that point where I just said, you know, all I want is God. I am not going to continue to punish myself. I'm not going to continue to reach for other things. We can torture ourselves for as long as we like. It's up to you. But there comes a point when we are willing to just say, once I get this part straight and I realize there is one power, one life, one God in the universe, and I am part of that, everything else falls into place beautifully. And so this morning, I want us to sing this simple little song to close out that we sometimes sing. So beautiful, by our friend Karen Drucker, who we share so many of her songs. And thank you, Karen, if you may be watching. As we affirm this morning, there is one power, one presence, active as me, God. God the good. It's called You Are the Face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are of someone else and send it to them. You are the face of God. I hold you in my love. You are a part of me. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. And once more, you are the face of God. I hold you in my Lord. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. And so we know that there is only one power, one life, one magnificent presence, active in the universe, active within me. God the good. I'm so grateful to know, and I'm grateful to the Fillmores for sharing this so that we could know through these generations that there is a power within you that's greater than anything in this world, that can heal any dis-ease, can change any problems, can solve anything in your life this morning. That is this presence, this one life, this one power. You are always guided, always protected, always safe. You are the beloved, the holy child of God. This is the truth about you, and this is the truth about me, and so it is. So hopefully we've gone over our first principle, and we can ingest that during the week, just remembering these ideas, these principles that are never changing. And we come to that part where we give to our spiritual center, we give to our spiritual family, knowing that money is simply an exchange of energy, where we give, where we've been spiritually fed. So grateful to everyone that supports our spiritual family with your tithes and offerings, and those that volunteer and help out to keep this beautiful place running. So we give this morning with a grateful heart and an open heart, knowing that as we give to ourselves. As we give, we put ourselves in the flow of abundance, knowing that it returns to us multiplied. As we say, God is the infinite source and substance of our supply. God is our only source and substance of our supply this morning. So with gratitude, we actively bring our tithes and offering up here, drop it into the basket, and then take an affirmation with you. We also have Sue with the basket there. If you prefer to stay seated, just simply raise your hand and she can meet you where you are. This is totally optional. And anyone choosing today to give electronically with a credit card can meet Bill out in the Welcome Center where you came in. He can take a credit card from you there. So this morning we give with gratitude for not only what we have, but more importantly for who we are. Grateful, grateful. I am grateful for all that I have and all that I am. So let's give this morning with gratitude, knowing that God always takes care of us. Grateful, grateful, I am grateful for all that I have, all that I am grateful, I am grateful. Grateful, grateful, I am grateful for all that I have, all that I am grateful, I am grateful. And once again, we'd like to thank everyone that's watching us today via online on Facebook. And if you would also like to give to support our spiritual community, you can simply look at the post beyond our streaming, what you're looking at now, the post right below it. With one click there, you can securely and easily give with a credit card or PayPal account. So we appreciate everyone that's watching, and thank you for all that you give, and we appreciate you being with us this morning as we say thankful. Thankful, thankful, I am thankful for all that I have, all Thank you, God. Thank you for this magnificent place we call Unity of Metairie. We know that our spiritual center is a great idea in the mind of God. We are here for a holy and purpose, for a magnificent purpose. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Once again, we appreciate everyone that gives today. And, you know, for everyone that gave during our fundraiser last month online, and once again, for everyone that gives that's watching today, I wanted to acknowledge them. You know, sometimes I'm jealous. They're probably at home in their pajamas with their coffee or hot chocolate, but it's all good. I like putting on my little minister costume on Sunday morning. So, but thank you, everyone that's watching today. Come and see us sometime, 10:30 every Sunday morning, and stay with us for the announcements. You can see during the rest of the week, and we thank you for giving. As I said, you can easily give with one click below the streaming that you're looking at right now, one post below that. So just a few things before we head out to the day. So let's get those slides rolling up here. We're going to move through these pretty quickly. Once again, we welcome everyone that's here for the very first time. You're welcome to take this packet with you. Hopefully you had a moment to fill out this form, and you can drop that off either in the offering or give it to Bill whenever you're headed out. We honor your presence here, and we sure hope to see you again. Thank you for joining us today. Wednesday night, we have our Faith Lift, and this is a time where we come together at 6 p.m. We have meditation, a time of silence for an hour. There's also music and spoken word, anything that guides us within. It's a very wonderful time to come together with spiritual practice. Right after that, I do a discussion facilitating A Course in Miracles. Everyone is welcome. You don't need experience with any of these two things to come. It's just a way for us to come together as a community to deepen our spiritual path. We still continue to give to Second Harvest Food Bank. January is Soup and Crackers Month. While you're at the grocery store, spend a few bucks, help someone to eat soup and crackers. Pick out your favorite soup crackers, drop them off at the back, and we will take them to Second Harvest. We love giving into the community. We do have the daily words, as I mentioned earlier, just $5. You can get that in the bookstore. This is a daily dose of inspiration to get your day going well. A great way to just get inspired and get going in the morning. Those are in the bookstore as well. Next Sunday, very important, is our annual town hall meeting. This is the big yearly meeting where we come together for church business. We're going to be electing new board members. There's still an opportunity if anyone would like to step up into church leadership. We do have a couple of people that will be joining the board. Some will be leaving the board. But if you're interested in this, please let us know and before next week so that we can put you on the ballot in the process. But we will be talking about church business. And this is a time for you to share your voice. So please come and meet with us. We'll have some finger sandwiches and stuff to eat, and we'll start immediately after the service so that we can get out of here quickly. But that's next Sunday. I know the Saints are playing, but just chill out. We'll make it short and sweet, and we'll get out of here. But next Sunday, right after the service, we'll have our annual town hall meeting. Paul and Brenda, let's move forward, please. So Paul and Brenda are doing in our class, our Tuesday night is our spiritual education class. This next month, they're going to be doing a book series, which is going to be a new thing they're going to be doing. This is one of the most powerful books I've ever read by another fiery lady, over 100 years old. Well, she wasn't 100 years old, but the book was over 100 years old. Emily Cady, who was around during the time of the Fillmore, she wrote this book, Lessons in Truth, and now, a century later, it is still powerful, it is still relevant, and it is life-changing. We use this church, even ministers have to go through this book as a course as we're learning to be a minister. It's still so powerful today. I'll tell you, the women really led this movement back, 100 years ago and got this rolling. But they will be starting this Tuesday at 7 p.m. If you don't have the book, you can pick it up. You can also get the audiobook or the book online. And Paul, share a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, I'm sure the e-book and iBook and all, but there's a... Oh, I'm out of frame.
Want to be a star, yes.
I should have stayed out of frame. There's also a website called newthoughtlibrary.com. And since this book is that old, it's now in public domain. So it's there for free. It's when you pull the website, you put in the author, the name, you get the book, and you pull up the different chapters. So it is online for free. So start reading if you want to come, and we'll just see where it goes this Tuesday.
Awesome. And this, I can't stress enough, this is a metaphysical classic. It really will just reshape and reframe your thoughts about that. And I'll tell you, you'll want to get the book. I mean, it is good just to try it out, you know, to go ahead and download it. But you'll want your own copy so you can scratch all in it and make notes and everything. So thank you guys for this wonderful idea. We'll continue book series after this one, which will go on for the next month or so. All right, and a few other things. All right, how many people remember Armand and Angelina? They are awesome, husband and wife team. They're magnificent. They write their own songs. They're entertaining. They're spirit-filled and lovely and wonderful musicians and singers. They're going to be with us on Sunday, January 27th, so save the date. They're going to be sharing music and message. And after church, they're going to be doing a Native American flute workshop. This is so powerful. You can actually learn, even if you don't know music, you can learn to play Native American flute, which is a really powerful spiritual practice. But they're going to be sharing with us January 27th. Like I said, they'll be doing music and message during the speaking time. And also right after service around noon, we will have, they call it a play shop. They said, we don't like the word workshop. We don't like anything with work in it, so it's a play shop. And I saw them. They've been on America's Got Talent. You may have seen them. They're like so talented and wonderful. She sings opera, and he's a crazy rock guy. So they do popera is what they do. They do amazing original songs, and you don't want to miss this. And this is a good time to bring visitors in, you know, to let them see how wonderful some of these people. They travel all over the world. They're coming from California to be with us. They live in Florida, but they're on a tour right now. So please make sure and put this down in your save the date book and be here on January 27th. All righty. Almost done. Where's Lunch Bunch today? Bobby Hebert's Veterans. It's a couple. If you turn right on Veterans, a few blocks down, Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cabin, I think it's called, or something like that. So this is a good time to fellowship with everyone here and get to know people a little bit better. So yes. Okay, good. And we'll have some sandwiches and stuff. So all you January people, let Sam know we'll be having birthday service. But today, at about 12:15, she'll go get a table ready, go and meet and have lunch with everyone. And we also have CDs of today's service. If you would like to, no CDs. Oh, did the whole thing blow up? Oh well. Well, no CDs. But the good thing about it, now that we stream, you can actually go back and watch. If you don't know this, good thing to know, when we're on Facebook, it catalogs every service. So you can go back to any service we've streamed and watch it again if you would like. Just go to Unity Church of Metairie. If you haven't gone to our Facebook page, please go like it and follow us. And when you get to the postings, you can go down the news feed and see any service. If you want to rehear this message or hear other messages, you can have church at home, you know, right on your computer. So. Yes, and thank you so much, Todd and John, for helping me get the YouTube channel together. If you haven't visited the YouTube channel lately, we're getting it all worked out and cool, and we've got services and all kind of events. So thank you guys for doing that. So we're going to stand as we head out into the day. We haven't done this in a long time. Some Unity churches end with the peace song. And so I thought it'd be nice to start out the year with this. Oh my God, I see those puppies again. Get those puppies away. I can't adopt another animal. And this song is so filled with truth that peace begins with us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And we head out into the day saying our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God. God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a great afternoon, everybody. We hope to see you next Sunday at 10:30.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me.